think that cartoons should be remembered, even if they weren't that great, because there's still a lot of people that worked on them, and in some cases, a lot of people that loved them. So I'm going to talk about some shows that people don't really remember anymore, starting with The Underdog Show. Underdog was created on October 3rd, 1964 by W. Watt Figures. He was also the creator of Total Television, one of the studios that produced Underdog, along with several other cartoons. The other two production companies were Leonardo Television and Gemini Production, and its main sponsor was the cereal company General Mills. Originally, Figures worked at General Mills as an accountant executive, where he worked with an advertisement company called the Dancer Fitzgerald Sample. You would think an ad agency would be able to come up with a better name. Oh well. Anyway, Figures teamed up with a few people: Chet Stover, Treadwell D. Hovanton, and artist Joe Harris. And together, they created Underdog, specifically to advertise for cereal. But instead of just making commercials,
Big G, little O, go with the goodness of Cheerios, but not for long. I take my new anti-Cheerios gun and hold up this Cheerio, then Simon says, go O! The hole is gone. It looks like a tiddlywink. Now people won't eat Cheerios, but Cheerios muscles. They'll have no power instead of go power.
they made a full show. Underdog is about an anthropomorphic dog whose name, or at least profession, is Shoeshine Boy. He's a mild-mannered, average, humble dog, but when he hears danger, he quickly runs into a telephone booth and transforms into wow, 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 dun 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 dun. There's no need to fear, Underdog is here. When in this world the headlines read of those whose hearts are filled with greed, who rob and steal from those who need, to right the wrong with blinding speed goes Underdog, Underdog, Underdog. Speed of lightning, roar of thunder, fighting all who rob or plunder. Underdog, Underdog. Underdog is 30 minutes long, but instead of the full 30 minutes being just about Underdog, there are always two shorts in between each Underdog cartoon. It goes Underdog, random short, Underdog. And then each Underdog episode is usually 4 parts. I'm not going to talk about the other cartoons that are featured in the Underdog show, because this video is just about Underdog, and because those other cartoons are kind of boring. Thanks for destroying the door.
The little boy wasn't locked in this bank. It's the 2-cent savings bank, and that's on the other side of town.
Hey, wait, how did you know the kid was in the bank vault? Did you lock him in there, bank employee? He still can't find the kid, so he tries to use his X-ray vision. It somehow sets the wall on fire, even though it's not supposed to be hot like heat vision. He uses his super breath to blow out the flame, and subsequently blows away the building. Somehow the kid's okay though. And yeah, that's how it ends. Unlike the rest of the series, this one has 2 Underdog shorts right after the other one. The second one introduces Underdog's romantic interest, Sweet Polly Purebred. She's a reporter, and yes, Sweet is part of her name. Something I find pretty funny is that even though Polly is his love interest, in the first 2 shorts, with her in it, she tries to kiss him and he keeps backing away. In this one, she sees a giant robot while she's reporting the news. An army of robots came out of nowhere and is currently invading. They never explain where they came from, and for some reason, everyone calls them monsters. A random scientist somehow knows they all have cylinders or brains, and if it's destroyed, they all shut down. So Underdog howls, they instantly get destroyed, and he saves the day. I'm sure the guy probably built the robot and told Underdog how to destroy them, so he could look like a hero. One of Underdog's main villains is Simon Bar Sinister. He's your stereotypical mad scientist who wants to take over the world. He's also very annoying. I haven't mentioned it yet, but in this show, it not only recycles animation, which was very common for this era, but they constantly say their catchphrase over and over in each episode. Underdog will always say,
"There's no need to fear. Underdog is here."
And blank.
In trouble, I am not slow. It's hip, 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 and away I go.
And the other one he always says is,
"A secret place in my ring I fill with an underdog energy vitamin pill."
And Sweet Polly always sings a song.
Where, oh, where has my underdog gone?
She sings those lyrics over and over until he comes to rescue her. And with Simon, he always says, Simon says, and then something that's related to his invention. In his first appearance, he says, Simon says, hold it. Then he presses a button on a camera he invented, and it turns people into photographs. Somehow, Underdog knew to defeat him by holding up a tiny mirror, and the rays of the camera bounced off the mirror. Hit Simon, but not the camera. Then Underdog turned the lens of the camera the other way, and it turned everyone back to normal. No clue how Underdog knew that would work. In the first 4-part episode, Simon makes a laser gun, turns people into snowmen and snowwomen. I have no idea why this is 4 parts. It could have easily been resolved in just 1 part. Best thing about this episode is when Underdog becomes a snowman, the citizens are trying to unfreeze him in different ways, but nothing they try works. Then this happens.
There.
Oh no, it can't be.
But it was. All alone, with help from no one, Underdog was defrosting.
But Underdog, how? Oh, how did you do it? We thought the snow gun had finished you.
Well, that snow gun stopped me frostily, but my radiant heat defrosted me.
I really like that because it's like he's saying, I'm so awesome, I managed to unfreeze myself. None of you did anything. I'm perfect, but you're all worthless. One episode, Simon created a special shrinking water to shrink everyone in the world, specifically to make them as big as his thumb. He keeps mentioning that for some reason, so he can be the biggest in the world. For some reason, he originally pours the liquid into one of those squirting flowers that he wears on his shirt, but his goal is to shrink everyone in the entire world. He realizes that this is stupid and would take way too long, so he puts it in a rain cloud machine that he already conveniently had. I don't know why Simon didn't realize it, but even when he was super small, Underdog still had all of his powers, which includes super strength. Simon also created a net that will cause Underdog to lose his memory, so he wouldn't be getting in the way of any of Simon's plans anymore. He loses his memory when the net gets dropped on him. The strange thing is, Simon didn't just come up with the idea for the net off the top of his head. He read how to make it. He learned how to make it from reading a book. Like, who would write a book like this? Why don't more people know about it? He drops the net on both Sweet Polly and Underdog. Problem is, they regain their memory if someone says their name. Despite the fact that Sweet Polly is a reporter, the only way they find out what her name is that Underdog guesses, while he still has his amnesia. It doesn't really make sense, because when he was guessing, he was saying first and last names both start with the same letter. He suddenly started guessing names similar to Sweet Polly Purebred until he got it. What's funny is there's a scene after she gets her memory back, trying to help Underdog recover his memory. She doesn't know he has to say his name. loud, so she tries to hit him on the head. Before she can, he'll come up, ask what she's doing. A sweet old lady. But Simon dressed Underdog up like one. Whispers to them who he really is, and they all keep trying to hit him on the head. Eventually someone says his name, and he stops. If you guys are hearing very annoying whining noise, because my Chihuahua Harper is whining just because she doesn't like me sitting at my computer because she wants to sit in my lap. Anyway, stop Simon from dropping a giant net over Washington, D.C. I think is neat is even though Underdog didn't know who he was, thought he was an old lady, sells apples, still rescued people, needed help. It's also funny that Polly had to hit Underdog in the head to regain his memory, because that's what always happens in cartoons.